Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we are getting ready to add player housing. This is part of the next update for the game. Part of it, there's going to be infrastructure, player housing, and some other stuff coming. This is just part of it. So what I wanted to go over is just what you can do to enhance gameplay for the player. So a big way to enhance the gameplay for the player is to allow the player to have a base of operations, quote unquote, right? So because we have the interface which allows us to spawn vehicles, we can spawn vehicles here, and then we can just go and do our thing, and then when we're done we can come back. So a couple of things I wanted to go over. The first one was spawning in the object, right? So it's all one model. You want to make sure it's all one model. And then the actual renting, quote unquote, where the player can get it, blah, blah, blah. So we'll go over that. So, and then also there's a security feature, and this here is a teleport feature. This little fancy block is a teleport feature. So what does it all do? Well, let's go over it. Let's assume we've already purchased the structure and the garage. And I'll use that way I can use the interface here, and then what I'll do is I'll use the teleport button, which will teleport us anywhere in the map back to our home. So if we're doing missions on the other side of the map and we're bored or we're done, we don't want to do something else, we can clean up all our vehicles by pressing the buttons, and then we can just teleport back to that position. Home spawn. Uh-oh. Alright, well, it's not gonna work now. Teleport home. No, it's not gonna work. No. Frame by a local script. Frame by a local script. What line? Line 4. Spawn car event. Oh, that should be the spawn home event. Okay, spawn home and delete home. Alright, so what we need remote events here inside replicated storage, which is here. We'll go insert object. We'll just say a folder, and we can call this home spawn. All right, and then we can go insert object remote event. We need 2 of these. We'll duplicate that. One will be spawn home. Spawn, or just spawn and delete, whatever it is. As easy as that. And then we say home spawn dot spawn. Home delete dot delete, and then delete home, because when you press the button first it's going to delete the home, and then it's going to respawn it. And what that does is it resets the object. So if there's anything in there that you want to set up where the player can only access once, this is when you do that. So when they spawn it in, all the scripts are turned on, and then they activate it, the scripts turn off, and the only way for them to activate it again is to respawn it. So then you can set limits on that. You can set price controls, which are coming. Right now the game is just open. There's a few people who've played it. Hopefully they like it. But eventually you're going to have to purchase everything that you want to sell. And there's going to be other ways to do that. You'll be able to purchase property on the map as well, which will generate income while you're in the game. There's going to be some neat different mechanics. So it's not just going to be like distribution is just the base part of the game. But I want to try and enhance gameplay. Just give it some different elements. So this is one part of that, giving the player a home. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to launch those other features, being able to purchase businesses, being able to manage those things, whatever, however that's going to look, I'm not sure yet. So it's going to be more than just trucking A to B. There's going to be a lot more to the game, which is going to hopefully keep players, interested. more and more and more, right? There's just more than one thing to do. Okay, so having said that, let's try this one more time. In theory, we've purchased it and we've already spawned it into the game. It should work that way because the code looks for the object on the workspace by its name. So there's 10, I think the server has a maximum of 10 players. So there's 10 individual homes on the map that you can buy. And then there will be businesses and other things. I will, you know, if there's more interest in it, because this is the first time I've really thrown this out there. I did it in a limited fashion in Project Alpha, but this is the first time I've really thrown it out there. So if it catches on, then the hope is that... So this button here that you activate, what that is there's, see that? There's a block in front of the front door. There's a block in front of here, and there's blocks in front of these doors. So anyways, you can't access it if you don't press, I'll just, this one here. Oh, I see. Uh-oh. Oh, I think I broke it. Whoops. No. There we go, it reset itself. Oh, I see, okay. Those need to be can collide false. Alright. So in Blue Truck and City, I introduced houses there, and they're just very basic. I was planning on updating them, but I guess not. So we have a block in front of the door. Right, and it's just a security block. So this transparency like that, right? And then the door, hold on a second here. This whole door itself will make it can collide false. And this whole door itself will make that can collide false. That's everything there. I think that's, yeah, that's everything there. Okay. So yeah, they're basically just, I don't think there's one on the side. Oh, there is there one on the side? There's one on the side too. Right, so when the object spawns in, these are just boxes, and what do they have? Just a simple script inside them. And it says that if the person touching it is the player, then you're able to go through it, otherwise you're not able to go through it, basically. And so what we've done is there's just a value on script.parent.door.value, wherever that is. Oh, there it is, right here. So when you press the green button, you click on it, and that's how we're able to get the player's name, is by when you activate a button. In this case, you're clicking. So I think it's either that or when you activate the prompt. I'm not too sure which. I think it's when you click, though. Yeah, it's when you click on it. So in the other game, how it's set up is when you touch the block, you die. I didn't want to set that up in this game. I just wanted to make it so you can't go through the door. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll put something like that in the trucks, but I'm not sure. Because I know right now it's probably nice to be able to share that aspect of gameplay. So you see I can't go through. I can't go through over here either. So I don't think I need that. We're just going to press the button. So if we activate the button, yeah, see, now I'm able to go through the blocks. Because my name is now stored in there, right? So that's how we do that. Except for that one there. Except for that one there. What is going on? BH. What? Base is not a valid member of model door. Where's that? Interesting. That is very interesting. It's the same. There it is there. Script.parent.parent. Door.base. What's the door? Script.parent.parent.door. Script.parent. Yeah. .parent.door. Right there. It said base is not part of it. Oh, it's not anchored. It's not anchored. Interesting. Let's see. I wonder if that was... I didn't build this. The doors fold up. I thought it was cool for the garage, and then I just scaled it up a little bit. It was working, but then I put these in the way, so that might be why it's not working anymore. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if I wanted the player to die when they touch these, or if the player just passes through it. It should pass through this one. I don't know if that's concerning. But we can pass through there now, so this should be... Base is not a valid part of model part of the door. Huh. I wonder if these doors just fall off. I should have checked that actually. We can do that. Here, I'll do this for now, and then this one here doesn't have a... I don't know why this one's not working. Can't collide false. Wait 2 seconds. They're all the same. They're all the same. Script of parent. Dot wherever, right? Script of parent, parent. Door value. I wonder if there's something else in there that's... Nope. Player equals hit parent name. Then maybe I'm just not hitting it there. Oh, I know why. Because this door doesn't swing open. You have to force this back door open. That's probably why. That's right. There, we'll just take this. We'll do that. We can't glide. Boom, there we go. Alright, so I want to see what happens to this door here. Let's see what happens to this door. Alright, well this was going to be kind of a quick video, as they never always are quick, right? Just development. Development continues. But you get the idea. Anyways, you put a block in front of the front door. So once you get the player's name, it allows them to enter the building and then nobody else. And then that way, it's safe and secure. But you have to do one of two things. So you have to make sure that when the player leaves the game, this model is removed. So that way it doesn't stay. Oh yeah, see, look, the doors just fall. I wonder why that is. Did they fall in the other one? Let's check. Let's check the other one and see what is missing here. Let's see. hope that's not the case. No, see, the doors are here. Okay, so what's the difference here then? Those aren't, they're not anchored. That's so strange. The physics garage door. Well, that's part of the button. That's part of the button. Okay, is this anchored? That's anchored. Yeah, that's anchored. There must be a hidden part in here somewhere. Either that or there's a weld script. Oh yeah, where's that part? Oh, okay. This one here. Yeah, they should all be welded to there. Right? Oh boy. And then it uses this. Where's the base? There. Okay, so this is what turns up. Interesting. See, I wonder, it uses the gyro here, and I wonder if we anchor it, if we'll be able to do that. But, oh, it's because it's can collide false. I bet you it just sits in there. So if we make it can collide true, yeah, so this is the problem here. So if we make it can collide true, then we have to do something different with these. And I mean, so maybe the garage door doesn't lock, or there'll have to be a button, because those want to go up and down, right? The doors want to go up and down. That's probably what it is. They probably just sit there. Yeah. Oh, I gotta press the button. So I guess if I want these to open and close, let's see here. I don't know why this lock isn't working. What is going on? Oh, was that? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I wonder if it's because the door moves. You know, I wonder, let's see here. let's see here. If we anchor this whole door, we say can't collide false, and we anchor it. Because if it moves at all and hits the door, then this becomes can collide true. So if the player is trying to go through it while the other object is hitting at the same time, it's going to make it so it is can collide true. It'll override the, because it'll hit so many times every time it hits. But anyhow, so you get the idea. So we're trying to secure the. This is how you can do like, if you want to do like a robbery system or anything like that, right? You come up to something like this, and you know, there's a prompt hidden inside here, right? You can't get inside the player's house. You activate it, then it brings up an interface, and in the interface, you have to put in a combination or something like that, right, to get in. This is how you would do something like that. And then when you get the combination, this will go can't collide false, right? Hey, you're able to go through the doors. Now you're inside. See, just like that. That's exactly what it was. So that would have been with these things. See, they open up. They look pretty cool. But they just, I don't quite understand how they work. They just sit there or something. I don't know. But I thought that was neat. Yeah. Right? So this is the player's house. I guess I won't worry about the security on the two garage doors, whatever. For me, it's just kind of like if you're role playing or something. It's not a public server. It's kind of nice to have that little area where you can role play and not be, you know what I mean. So if that's the case, I don't think it matters that much, to be honest. Alright, so there we go. So that's how that works. So, can we finally test out the teleport button? What do we got here? Oh yeah, 22 minutes. I think it's time to test the teleport button. We can get rid of this one here. No, it'll take changes, whatever, who cares? Again, this is what I do, right? I sit down, I think, how do I want this to work? How could it work? Based on what I know, the limited knowledge of coding that we have, right? I check through my scripts to see if there's anything that can sort of give me an idea of what I want to do. Because the scripts are the action part of the code. I think that's what makes the action. So if you can read through it and then you're thinking, oh yeah, you're thinking about, try and visualize what the action is while you're reading about it. Makes it easy. Right, so we activate this. That doesn't matter anymore. All right. It's this that matters. Yeah, there we go. Next, finish. Can we teleport to home? Oh, why not? Infinite yield. Oh, right, because we have to spawn the home in there. You see how it's searching for based on my name. Okay, perfect. So let's finally set this up, and then we can connect this to the data store. So we need to take this. Bay A is going to be the name of this property. We'll get this out of the way. Bay A, and we'll put this into. You can either go replicated storage. I like putting it in the server storage. Group it as a folder. We can call this homes. And that way, you know, you can't read what's in the server script service or the server storage, but you can read what's in the replicated storage. So it's a little bit. All right. And then, so now what we need to do is we need to go, if you've done any of my videos where you see the interface, this interface works exactly the same as all the other interfaces that we built, except we need to go in here and it has the spawn home, right? So we actually need a server script service. Where is it here? We could probably just take the bus script, you know that, and we can duplicate it. And we can say server storage dot spawn dot home spawn dot spawn, and this one here we can say, so we need a one for each one. Dot home spawn dot delete, and then we could just call this like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here, let's do that right now. A. And that way each one has its own, each house is connected to its own functions. It's safer that way. You're not going to get like, have a case where the server has a hiccup and then all of a sudden a couple of people have the same thing happen or whatever. You can have errors with your code and blah, 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 blah. So if you just write it as its own instance. All right, so now that's the home. It's going to spawn in. We don't want the move to, because I think what we can do with this one is we don't need make joints. We need that if it's a vehicle. We can just say this game.workspace, and then if we get rid of the local variable, I think it'll just clone it right here. Let's try that out. I think it'll just pull it out of the workspace and spawn it here. If you don't tell it a position where to go, it'll just, this is the position in the workspace, this is where it's going. Well, already gave me an error. Because I went spawn A and I didn't change it, the code. We're over here. No, that's the leaderboard. I want home spawn A dot delete A. Okay, perfect. I think that's right. I think that's right. So when you activate the prompt, that is when we're going to do the transaction to buy the house. And then when on the name on the prompt or the action text will be purchase house, X amount of money. Then when they do the transaction, it saves that they did the transaction, and then they're able to spawn it into the game. So, but what I've done is I don't like the idea of you being able to join a server and then already having a purchase the house and just spawning it in. Every time you pay the money to have the house, and you have the house while you're in the server. I think that's a fair way of doing it. Because it keeps the player spending money, and that's what you want, because the player is going to be earning money while they're doing these missions, and then they're going to want to spend it. Otherwise, they're going to get bored because they'll say, "Oh, I have infinite money," whatever. Okay. No. That's the interface had an error this time. Can I call that up? No, I can't. Is it the A local script line 4? Oh. I changed it in the other script, but I didn't change it in the local script. So the local script in the button says activate this remote event. And then the script that we have on the server says when this remote event is activated, here's what we're going to do. That's how you connect those dots together. If you're wondering why I'm hopping back and forth like that, that is why. Those are our 3 spots. So you can do that when the player clicks on an object, when the player activates an object, in this case, like this, a prompt. And then we'll say spawn home, there. Now my home is in there. Then I can say teleport to home. What did it come in as? Capital H and it's looking for lowercase h. So there you go. That's why it's important to test these things. And now it doesn't matter where the player is. They can be on the other side of the map. They're bored. They want to do something else. They can pack their stuff up. They can teleport back to the house. Do some role play, whatever, right? So now what we need to do also is we need to, that's the lock and unlock buttons, which we'll have to calibrate, but basically those turn the scripts on and off. The security scripts in the bay. The lasers. So this will have to be like A and then B. And then C, and then what it will do is it'll fire from here, the control script, and then we'll say script.part. Yeah, this needs to be A. And this needs to be A, B, C. You see, and then this is how we track everything by the player, right? This is the player's home, and now we're able to give commands to the player, which they can now, you know, turn the lights on, turn the lights off, all that kind of stuff. We can have that as an interface, or you can have buttons in the house as well. So you can, when you combine those things together, you totally expand on the experience that the player is going to have, right? And it just makes for a broader experience. It's fun. Okay, so now we'll save it here. Now I have the lots already set out for where all the houses are. I just figure, let me get some music going here. I just figure I would, it has to be tested, right? So I put them out, I did all the landscaping, and then I'm like, okay, let's get one in here. Let's test it out, see what we want to do with it, see how it works before you put 13 or 15 or whatever in the map. And then this is where you can look at, okay, do I want to give the player storage? Do I want to give the player access to any items? In this case, we want a flashlight and we want some other objects and items. So we can the player can either purchase them here at their home, in the same way a tycoon or whatever, they go inside their house, they can change their uniforms. This is where you want to do all that kind of stuff. They can get their lunch, from the fridge, just to really enhance that, give the player all the fun stuff, the toys to play with, right? Okay, so I think finally we can do the teleport button here. So let's spawn the house in. Okay, so there it is. I don't know what happens if you're underneath it. I'm not sure. But, okay, then we activate that so we can walk through our stuff. And then we will teleport to home. I don't know why it's working. Oh, now it's lowercase. What's going on? I just changed it. Oh, but I didn't change it in the script. Oh my goodness. So silly. So here in the script, bus number 1 or bus number 2? There's home A. Alright, yeah, home, and then home, and then home, okay. But when they activate the prompt, is it this one here? No, not that. It's in the home itself. Probably when we press this button here. Yes. Oh, script.parent.parent. Oh, that's why. Oh, okay, interesting. So when you press this, it renames it anyways. So we're tracking it here, it'll rename it and then it renames it. That's the important thing of going through these scripts. All it takes is one missed script and then the whole project has failed. So just make sure of that. Okay, so now we go into a respawn handler where we have everything. This is what happens when the player leaves the game. When the player is added to the game and when the player leaves the game is the bottom part. So then what we need to do is we need to take our respawn handler, we need to take our home script, and we need to say we're going to delete this home. Let's see. The player added works when you respawn. Player leaving only works when the player leaves the game. That's the difference here between players removing and players added. When you respawn, you're added to the game, so it'll fire this function. So try not to get that confused. You're going to need different handles here. There's a lot, right? As you can see, there's a lot, and it's referenced through these scripts as well. So it gets complicated. So it's important sometimes to kind of like, sure, I could probably build a module script where you have variables for all that sort of stuff, but I just find that it gets so confusing that even if I did it that way, it would still be really ridiculous. So for me, this is the easiest way to do it. And that way, every time you press a button that allows the player to spawn an object into the game, it checks 3 or 4 times at what it needs to remove and not remove and all that sort of stuff. And that way, players can't just spam the server with objects, which really slows down the server. If you want to crash the game, that's how you do it. Okay, so now we got this. Spawn in our house. The unlock is supposed to do something. I can't remember what it is. Alright, yeah, there, finally we can teleport. Okay, so how does that work? There's a part on the front porch. And then when you press the teleport button, what it does is it finds this house, it finds the button, it takes the XYZ, and it teleports you to the XYZ, and that's what I was hoping to do. There we go. So now we have that, and then if we hide the screen, you know, you can place it up here. There, done deal. Now you're playing. This is... So what I might add something else to this, because we need a rental screen now for purchasing, making the purchases. So now that we're able to use the teleport button after 38 minutes, this will be teleport to home tutorial. That's it. Okay. So now what we want to do is we have a control script. We have that. We have that. We have that. Not this one. What happens when they rent the home? So we don't need this anymore. Do we want to give them experience? This is where we could take experience from them or give them experience. And I give them a soda, which is just a clone. I have an object. I'm going to do that here. I put an object here, close it. We'll go over that in the next video, how to give the player objects, and then how to save the objects the player has. So you can either give player objects that they have forever, or you can give players objects that you just want them to have while they're in the game. That'll be in the next one. But that's always fun. That slows down the game a little bit because there's a lot of saving there. Yeah, okay, perfect. So how does this work? So it connects to the data store. So we need the data store, right? Which is our player added, right? Yeah, player added. So we need this. We need champs. So right here where it says the data store service, that's where we want to put the name of our data store. This is where all our data is going to be stored. Now I have this local for experience. I'm just going to block that out. I will be adding experience before I expand too much further on the code. That's why I was saying when you first start out, I tend to have the tendency to be like, okay, I think I'm at a point where I'm okay, and I'm going to spread these things all over the server. And then I forget, oh yeah, we're only tracking cash. We're not tracking anything else. Now I want to add experience to that or something else, another value here to that. So now I have to go back through all the scripts and I have to add these to it. So that's why I was saying when you're planning your game in the beginning, this is the things you want to be thinking about. What do I want? What rewards do I want to give the player, and when should I be giving those rewards to the player? Because otherwise you're going to have a scripting nightmare where you're going to be going back and forth, changing values. So if that's the way you want to do it, that's fine. That's the way I do it, and it's cumbersome. I'll probably find a better way in the future. But for now, that's it. So I'm just throwing that out there, letting you all know that that's kind of the way it is. So in this case, it's going to take $100 from us, right? So we need this. We need this champs here, right? And then the other thing we need to do, so what is it going to do exactly? Well, its click is equal to true. It's just going to take the $100. It's going to go neon. It's going to play a sound. And it's going to go metal, and it's going to give me the interface. It's going to clone it to the interface, and then what it's going to do is it's going to make the button so you can't use it anymore. We'll get rid of that. And that's it. So the other thing I wanted to do... Oh yeah, because then we have the other if statement. If player.leader stats. Oh, where's my else? There we go. This should be alright, so we'll have to test that first. So anyway, so it's going to cost $100 to get the interface, but this is what you would pay for the house. Probably make it like $10,000. And then you want to write on the button the cost, right? Rent home, 10,000. Or you can even have it at Roblox. So when they click on it, a prompt comes down and it says, hey, paid, 50 Robux or something. If you create it, I didn't create these models. That's why I have a free sort of system where I just say, hey, if you enjoy the game, maybe consider donating. There's a single donate button and that's it. Just because for me, it's like, whatever. If I was really designing this stuff and spending the time and going into Blender and really making it look good, then yeah, I could, that's where you probably would want to consider charging Robux, 10 or whatever, to the player, because you're spending that time, you're investing that time, right? So we have our house finally. We spawn it in finally. We activate it. All right, we can teleport to it. It took $100. That was good. It saved. Now, the last thing we want to do is, so yeah, the last thing we want to do is we want to add the pcall function to make sure it saves. Because if I go back in there, it's going to, it didn't save anywhere. This transaction didn't save. So we want it to save because we want it to cost money. I'll just show that. I'll go back in there. Drink lots of water, and then I sit down and I start talking, and then the voice is like, no. There, you see? It didn't save that transaction. Now, we don't want that. So what do we need to do to save it? Well, that's where we need the pcall function thing. Whatever it's called. Whatever it does. This is where we learn about it. So, the pcall, the data call thing, majigger, whatever it is. I don't know. I should probably look just so I can explain it. But so we need that. So at the end of here, we want it to do this, right? And then we need cache.value.data. So what is that? So we need to reference cash is here. So we need to say player. We need to say player dot leader stats dot cash dot value. All right, and now you're going to notice something. Okay, so let's go over this. So we say local data, and then we say this is the function itself. The pcall has the success message and the error message. So we have a success message here, and we have the error message here. So when it succeeds, what is it going to do? It is going to save. See what we say get async? We have to set this to set async. All right, it's going to save it to this user ID, but then we have to say what is it going to save, and it's going to save this here. So first it's going to take the money, then it's going to save the current value, whatever that is, after the transaction has taken place. And that's what we want. We don't want it to save before the transaction. We want it to save after the transaction. And that way it will save the fact that the value has changed. Okay, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. And then here's your success. If it's successful, then this becomes saved. If it's not successful, it gives you an error message. And you can say in there, like it says, leaderboard loaded. Success, we can just say transaction home. You know, something like that. And then that way you can track it. There was an error with your data. Simple as that, right? And that's it. And now if you, so the call is on how much money you have here, right? If you have that. Else, just sit there and don't do anything. So we can change this to like 10,000. I just want to show you that real quickly before we go through it. So you can limit this. And you can say if the player doesn't have, you know, if he has more than 10,000, he'll be able to do this transaction. Otherwise, don't do anything. Yeah, and so that's why the pcall is it's important, because that is how you're able to save. That's how you save every transaction, is by adding that function in there. If it succeeds, you commit it. If it doesn't succeed, then it won't commit it. So you see I've got 9,000 there, so I shouldn't be able to activate this. Oh, weird. It took all my money though. That else is in the wrong spot, I think. I hope it didn't just take all my money. If click equals true, then yeah, this should be the if for that, right? No. So it went through, click equals true. It shouldn't have gone through. What's the reward? Minus 100? Uh-oh. Leaderboard loaded. Leaderboard loaded. Oh, and then it said line 37. Value of string cannot be converted to a number. Player.leaderstats.cache.value. So I think this has to be written like this. Let me just let's try that one more time, and then if that doesn't work, I'll have to look at the cell script, because I had the same issue. Yeah, unless there's, I have to change where the, what, yeah, see there, it's loaded back. So you see it didn't save. I probably could have respawned and my value would have, we'll try that next time. I'll just respawn. And then the value will probably reset. So we'll see what happens here. It shouldn't do anything. It says transaction home success. Let's see where it's printing that. Line 39. So it's going to here. So that should be part of, that's that one. Oh, I see. It ends there. That's why. It should end here. See, this is the thing about programming. So this if statement covers, let's see, this if statement covers here. This if statement covers all the way down to here. And this end is for this if statement here. So this should be this, right? But I had it up here. So I was ending the function too early. So that's one thing to watch out for. I just, you know, when I'm doing these videos, I kind of always try and think about what I'm doing and try and kind of critique the mistakes I make. So that is a mistake. It's just knowing where the function ends and how much of what you want to do is in that function, right? Because where it ends, you can say, okay, well, do this. And then you can say else, do something else. And then you can add a whole bunch of other conditions. And that's why it's important to make sure that you know where you're starting and stopping functions, because it can get very complicated. You can make it very complicated. There we go. Now it didn't do anything. Perfect. So now what we'll do is we'll say if they have more than $5,000, we'll see what happens. So as you saw, there was no errors in the code, and it was going through the pcall function. So it was telling us that it was saving, but it wasn't actually saving. So sometimes it can be frustrating. You're debugging and you're saying, well, look, it's not. There's no errors in the script, and it's also saving. What's wrong? Well, as you saw there, where we ended the function was actually the real issue there. So yeah, so now what we say is we can say greater than 5,000, right? 500. And then you can add all kinds of role play and all kinds of stuff to the house. These are objects that you can build off of, right? As I keep saying, we want to create a solid foundation. When we bring our game to market, we want to make sure we have a solid foundation so that way the players get the best play experience they can, and that makes them want to come back. So you don't have to spend a whole lot initially on advertising, and you'll be able to build up that community quickly. If that happens, I don't know. I have no idea. Hey, there we go. Now it should save that because let's see, we'll spawn the home in. Yeah, there we go. And then we want to activate. I don't even think we can teleport there. Yeah, and then we can activate it just like that. Oh, back at our house, right? We can go inside. However it looks actually pretty cool. I didn't make this, so I'm just saying that I didn't make it. So now it says that it's rented. You see, nobody else can come up here and rent it. Nobody else can come up here and go inside. Only the player can go inside. And then if we respawn, it should stay in the world. It shouldn't reset. Yes. It's still there. So now, that is a good way to test if your functions work or not, is the respawning. Because as you saw there, I didn't test the player added. I just put the delete house on the player leaving the game. So how do you test that? You can't, unless you have more than one person to test it. So the next best thing to do is on your respawn handler. Oh yes, there's two. Player added, and then we have our respawn handler. So I have this function here, right? This is the home. So we'll put it at the end of the respawn handler. Just like that. And then that way you'll see the difference. You'll see it respawning here. So I hope from this video, if you watch it to the very end, thank you so very much. Consider leaving a like, subscribing perhaps, if this has helped you in any way, shape, or form. And as you can see, yeah, just housing, it can be a little complicated. There's a few things to think about. But if you're able to get it in there, it is very rewarding for you, and I think it's also very rewarding for the player. Now they have their own little base. And there, see, 8,900, so it did save the transaction. That's perfect. It loaded the transaction. So if you give them experience, it'll save the experience. Maybe you need to be a certain level to buy a house. You know, things like that. Like this game here is this type of game. The next big game I want to put out is going to be more fantasy, so we can get more into this kind of stuff, the interfaces, giving player items when they open up a chest, blah blah blah. We can get into all that sort of stuff, but that'll be in a little bit. So now we have this. If you teleport to it, it'll say, "Hey, you can't teleport to it." There we go. As soon as it spawns in, you can now teleport to it. You press the button. Cool. So now we have all those neato features. And then I'll have to figure out what this lock home. I think this disables the script, so now nobody can get in, right? And then lock home. Yeah, but it's backwards. Yeah, see? There you go. So now it's disabled. Then if you say unlock, no, lock home. There you go. Now you can come inside. But just stuff like that helps. You know, if somebody's playing the game and they're into it or whatever, and they just want to kind of have their own little spot, right? Role play, whatever. This is how they're doing it. Nice, look at that. You sitting here and play Roblox on Roblox. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. This is player housing. Like I say, in the next video, we will cover tools. I think I'm almost ready to start adding tools to the game. That's going to help out a lot, and you see there's a lot of stuff in the kitchen you can add to. There's just no end to this game. So that's why it's really important to establish your foundation. You get your base game built, whatever that is, your map, your base models, and then you want to build off on that. Because there's a lot of basic things that we can add that are fun. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you all in the next one.